Oh, and according to that, we are live. It says right there. Hello, good to see you. It's one of those things I thought I'd try to be clever and do something else, and when I did that, Wirecast crashed just as I was setting it to go live, and I had to reboot and do some things. But I'm here. I'm okay. How's it going, everyone? I've been busy, as I think you guys may have seen here and there. First of all, big shout out to Robert of the Three Old Dudes, whose show I went on briefly last night, to wish congratulations on their wedding. Also, big shout out to my homegirl, as it were, Sayuri, fellow New Zealander, Japanese, who just released her first album this week, and I think it was number 8 on the iTunes charts in Japan. Awesome. Actually, I'll put the information in the video info below, but just look it up. Sayuri is called First Covers, I think. First Covers. Anyway, just look up Sayuri, Sayulee, and you can go and check out. I think I actually plugged this last week, but I'm going to plug it again. And we plugged it on 2.5 Oyajis. But yeah, she's got a fantastic album of really great covers. I really liked her cover of. I'm a big China Ringo fan, and I must admit, it's because I like her. I was a little bit anxious when I saw that she was doing Gips, which is a really kind of what do you call it? It's an anthem almost of for China Ringo, right? But she really did that song really well on the video and so on, and the whole album's great. I've downloaded it. And you all should too, so go and check that out. So lots of cool things going on, lots of New Year's resolutions and stuff. I've got a few which I mentioned the other night on 2.5 Oyajis. One of them is, I was really lucky at the end of last year. I got to connect with some YouTube people again for the first time in a while. And that kind of motivated me in different ways. One thing, I'm pretty convinced YouTube is coming back to being more community oriented, which is a great thing, and they really are looking now once again really hard at creators. There are some creators that they're really actually, and you can see, they're pushing very hard and promoting, and through all sorts of kind of quiet ways. Through there are blogs and news stories popping up here and there about YouTubers. This word YouTuber is suddenly popping up in the online media in Japan a lot. Sometimes in a positive and controlled way, and sometimes clearly not, with the toothpick incident guy this week. However, when I have conversations with those guys and they ask me, so who's good? And it makes me realize, New Year's resolution number 1. I want to be more up with discovering new channels, and what I want that to mean is, I really want to be back into being a little bit more aware of channels maybe that are new, or channels that have particularly less than 1,000, but even maybe less than, I don't know, once you start getting above 3,000 to 5,000, you start to get attention from YouTube people. But certainly below that, if there's people who are posting regularly and they're posting really good content and they seem really interesting, I want to know. A lot of people I noticed actually, and I didn't talk with these people, and it wasn't a reaction to that. We were obviously thinking the same thing at the same time. I've noticed a few other people, including Unrested, who started a new YouTuber thing. But I think that's good. He should keep doing that, and I want to do it here. I want to discover the talent and take the credit for it when they become famous and bigger and better looking than me, which of course is a long road. But so in that respect, if you guys are aware of channels that and I think the criteria is they have to be posting regularly. No dead channels, no channels that post less frequently than once a month. But if there's new people out there, and they just have to be Japan related. They can be people outside of Japan, but just anyone around the Japan world online, ping me, let me know. Say, I found this channel, do you know about it? Check it out. Ping me on Facebook, ping me on Twitter. I've been doing a lot of browsing myself. Lately, I'm just trying to catch up, because I really used to be up with everybody. Awesome opportunity, of course, coming up in end of March, early April, with the YouTube Hanami, which is one of the 2 big events now. It was always the biggest event for creators to kind of connect with each other, and through that to cross-promote and to get your kind of name out there and to really boost your channel. And I wanted to go back to being that. It was great last year, thanks in particular to the work of Tika-Sam, Charlotte in Japan, and Mira. What's her channel name again? I've forgotten, but they did a great job of getting a huge crowd of people out there, which, Victor and I alone wouldn't have gotten now. We've always gotten the same size crowd every year, but last year it got really big, and it was because more people got involved in the promotion, so I'm really looking forward to that. So, community is back, and I want to get back deeper into the community, and that is my first resolution. I've had like a frog in my throat for weeks. It just hasn't gone away. It makes me cough when I talk a lot, and today's my talking day. So I got some nice peach flavoured tea. It's hard to actually get this kind of flavoured tea in Japan. It's everywhere, in Australia and Singapore and places like that. But I don't find it very often in Japan, but I found this at the supermarket. So I'm trying some of that. The other New Year's resolution is I do want to go back to making Japanese videos again. It's always I originally started out this channel making videos, and I was switching back and forth, and I guess the challenges with Japanese are that Japanese people don't comment. You don't get as much feedback from them, which you get a lot more from English viewers, and that was the whole motivation back in the day. There was no money, there's no AdSense. There was occasionally there was a feature, and that was kind of cool, but that was the only reason. And you do it for the kicks like that. And truth be told, Western viewers give more kicks. They were more into the social side of YouTube, and that was part of it. The other thing was that I still wanted to make Japanese videos, even though I was getting more feedback from the English ones. So as you all know, I kept to it, and I was making subtitles when I was doing that. And I got very good at making subtitles, actually, as quickly as you can really do it. In a pinch, I could do maybe 4 or 5 times the video length. I could do the subtitles. Come think of it, well, generally speaking, a 5-minute video would be about an hour. And that, in addition to the editing and everything else. So I'd really need, I record this in 1 hour, and I'm done. When I finish recording, I go into the next room and watch TV. But to record a 4-minute video back in the day, you spend 20-30 minutes preparing for it, sorting out your content, recording it, cutting it, and then like 3 or 4 hours, 1 hour on the subtitles, 3 or 4 hours somehow. I don't know how I spent so much time editing, but you did. In the old days, you'd play around with codecs, with all that sort of stuff. I want to go back to doing edited videos, but I want to do them in Japanese, and I'm not going to do them with subtitles, because I can't go back to doing more than 1 hour at a time, and it will be additional time to what I'm doing, because I'm going to be keeping up the 2 shows that I've got at the moment. So it will be a 3rd show. I've kind of come up with a name and a brand. I've gone and grabbed the channel for it. And here's one thing. This is kind of scary. I know what happens if I put it on my English. If I put all Japanese videos on this channel, some people. I'm going to get either please subtitle these, or I don't understand this, and or I'll get Japanese subscribers, and then they'll see my 1 hour long English shows twice a week, and when they see the content that doesn't fit, they feel like, well, I don't want to subscribe to this. I don't want this in my feed. So I've prepared a 2nd channel. I haven't put any content on it yet. In fact, just before I started this, I was recording a quick intro vid for the new channel. And I've got a few ideas for a couple of videos I want to make for the beginning of that, but I'm going to be doing a new all Japanese channel. I will not do the subtitles, simply because I don't have the time, and I could do it a couple of times, but then I won't be able to do it sustainably. I'll psych myself out. So what I will do is I will enable fan subbing to the extent anyone's interested. I will make the videos less than 5 minutes. I know people here think that's not possible for me to do, but I will hell or high water, I will do that. And it gives me an opportunity to do things I can't really do with this channel because it's live. Like, for example, I do want to go back and record at that YouTube studio. In fact, I actually applied last night. Put in all the application stuff. It used to be on a different sort of a system that you'd actually go and book a studio on time, and I wouldn't know what to do with that. But now apparently you just book permission to go there, and they give you a certain degree of support. So yes, I'm going to look at maybe getting over there every now and then. But in any case, you're going to see probably slightly more polished. I feel a bit of pressure to up my game to keep up with kids nowadays in terms of the production quality, and I want to see if I can do that in a way that's sustainable, that I can do that 3rd show every week. So what should I do? Should I tell you guys what? There's nothing on it right now. I do want to get subscribers for it, and I do want to promote it a bit, but I guess I want to put some content and set up the channel properly first. So I guess next week I'm going to have some content ready for it, and I'll do the big announce next week. So I look forward to that, and I'd love all of you guys' support for that as well, just for giving it a bit of a boost in the beginning, particularly for certain things. You know, you have to have 500 subscribers to be able to get a vanity URL channel. Sorry, channel URL, stuff like that, which I want to have the URL being the name of the channel and stuff like that. So it would be nice to get a little bit of a boost in the beginning to the new channel. And of course, I know there's a lot of people who watch this who speak Japanese or are in Japan or are studying Japanese. So I'm hoping it'll be of interest to a lot of people who watch this. But fundamentally speaking, what I'm trying to do with that new channel will be to make videos in Japanese. And what will it be about? It will be about how Japan is covered. Well, two things. One, how Japan is covered in the foreign press. And so Japanese people, they always ask me, what do foreigners think of us? And I'm like, I don't know. I've lived here half my life now. I don't know anymore. But I guess I can look at how foreign media covers Japan and pick up some interesting cases of that, just to draw attention and do a bit of commentary on that. And to talk a little bit about the international community in Japan and on YouTube and on social media. I'm definitely going to make a video about a certain topic I'm going to raise tonight. And just highlight these are the things that foreigners are excited about Japan or interested in Japan, and you know, hopefully it can be another place that we can. The whole idea for me is nothing more than building a bit more of a bridge. You know, that's my whole life's work at the moment, is trying to make a bridge between Japanese and the international community, like myself. So that is what I want to do. I've got some stuff to show off. I've got some. You may have noticed I've actually uploaded a bunch of vids this week. One was for this. This is the Rode Smart Lav Plus. This is not like a toilet hose. In Japan, that's what I would assume if it was Smart Lav. Our toilets here are pretty advanced. However, this is not that. This is a lav mic. Reason being that when I shoot with the front-facing camera on the old iPhone, it doesn't sound good, as I discovered with those Australian videos. And so it's nice to have something with that. There's two things with that. One, it allows better shooting with the iPhone itself. And two, when I was at the YouTube space, and this is something I really want to do, seriously, I want to plan out doing this. Sitting a bit of a distance in a proper studio from the camera meant that the sound was crap, you know. And the way that this works, the fact that it's designed to work with the iPhone, you just put the iPhone in your pocket with a short little left mic cable on it, and you know, it records really good sound. I did a test video of that. I'm going to do another test which I'll just post on Facebook of ambient sound, because Andy-san asked for that. But yeah, other than that, that was pretty cool. So we got comments, we got people. Big shout out to Tomujin thank you for picking the title of tonight's show, the interim title of tonight's show. I'll put a final title on later. The swag stuff is a little bit behind, and a big apology to Brascafarian, who I think... Let me just check that the orders have gone out. I kind of rushed. There's one I didn't get out before I went away on Christmas vacation, and I kind of stopped everything over Christmas, and I'm sorry about that. But let me just catch up and make sure everything is ordered and out as it should be, because I want to keep this going. I love these title suggestions, and that still is going. If you want to name this show, just hashtag Tokyo Tonight without a space. And... yes, the title I like the best at that time, just 9 p.m. on 10 p.m. on a Sunday night, is the one that I will choose and put on the screen, and that means you will get up to $20 worth of swag, this or a cap or whatever, from the Give Me a Break Men Spreadshirt page. And it doesn't have to be Tokyo Tonight. It can be a Zenzen Wakarimasen shirt by my Argonauts. It can be a Mora Anami shirt. It can be, you know, anything you want. So enough with the promos. Let's get into the comments, which I have registered my displeasure with YouTube about the fact that these things still disappear and they still haven't fixed it. But so let's get in there. I'm pretty sure that already the top is cut off, so I'm sorry about that. I know that the first comment was indeed from Raz Al Ghul, Let the Games Begin, and they have. So who's here? Schomburg, great to see you. Great to see us. Great. And what I love about this now is that I can read these names, and I'm not just reading comments, which I love reading. but I can now put faces and names. Oh, that was that person who sent me that awesome clip from the happy video. And that's what I love about that video for me. It's that you guys now, even before, even as names, you're all people, and I felt like you're people that I know, but now I feel like I really, know you guys. It's really cool. So, Posey Mate, great to see you. Dude Cherico, Lucas Musso, who just joined Twitter this week, or just the other day, actually. So, it's cool to see you tweeting. I loves AKB48, says Posey Dude. I'm not sure that's quite accurate, but that's okay. Benjamin Harris, oh, good to see you, but you have to go. So, I'll catch you later on the recorded show. Benjamin Harris, go and work hard and come back. KG Redrum says bet is 7,000. Don't know what that is for, but that's okay. Travis Moore, always great to see you. Who else we got here? Nonbiri Hito, good to see you, but saying goodbye there to Benjamin Harris. Who else we got in here? If you type something in now, and I'll read your name and say hello, and then we'll get into the news topics. Who else we got here? We got Matt Almanza, good to see you always. B-Boy Trippin, excellent, let the games begin indeed. I'm sorry, technical problems with the 6 minute, I kept everyone waiting. That was very rock and roll, wasn't it? Rasa-san, yeah, everyone waiting, this is awkward, isn't it? Well, that's why I called it that. Ken Pino, Hiko, oh come on, no. Do you see that? Do you see that? Everyone, so I told everyone to go comment now, so everyone started commenting now, and now I have to refresh, and I'm going to lose all of these comments now. So look, I can see Ken Pino, Bevan, James O'Hara. I don't care, just keep commenting. Boom. Oh crap, that's not what I meant to do. Oh god. So, well, you know what? It looks like I can still get them, so that's good. Okay, I was just worried I just lost all of those. Ben Duncan, great to see you. Num, great to see you. Night's Work Japan, great to see you. And I love KFC myself. I had it for lunch just today. You can tell I got the t-shirt. It's a KFC theme I'm rocking today. John W, you're here too. That's excellent. Globby, great to see you. Vanakin Street, awesome. Good to see you. Who else we got here? Anime Gamer, Braska Ferrin, I will get your shirt thing sorted out. Sorry, just give me a bit of time. But yes, I'm going to check that. What else we got here? James O'Hara, Braska Ferrin, all these names. The regular crowd. Who else we got here? Jason's All Sumo channel. By the way, great sumo tournament going on at the moment with Hakuho going for the 33 tournament wins all-time record, which Asa Shoryu totally would have got like 2 or 3 years ago if he hadn't been banned from the sport. But yeah, no, as a result, congrats to Hakuho if he makes it. But he's in good form, isn't he, Jason? Jason's your man for all sumo related questions. Who else we got here? KG Redrum. Yasa, great to see you, as always. Pickles de Gaijin. Wow, we got all the crowd here. Who else we got? Nonbiristo, Braska Ferrin, Posey May. Everyone's chatting. Getting down the bottom now. Contensai, good to see you. Anime Gamer. I'm pretty sure I might have skipped through someone. Someone asking about King Cheeseburger, I like your name. You asked me, do I like your name? I like your name. Oh, look at this. I didn't realize that we could get so many of these stickers going there now. It's very line-ish. Gomenne, great to see you. You're always watching quietly from a distance. That's okay. That's all cool. So, looks like I've caught up with everybody. Indeed, KG Redrum, yay, Google, BS. It's all good. Today I did a huge catch-up on all of my Flipboard magazines, which, as you know, that's what I love to do. I love to make Flipboard magazines. I'll remind everybody, because if you follow these, you're basically following the stuff that I think is cool. So, boom, let me just see if I can cue this up in the right position. Boom, 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 boom. Put that there. Drag this across. Oh, and by the way, of course, everyone keep an eye on Victor's, on Give Me a Break Man's accounts, because he is with child, of course, and that child will be born. Don't even know if it's going to be boy or girl or anything, but it's going to be born very, very soon. So his life is going to change in dramatic ways, and I'm looking forward to like watching it change and see how he copes with that and helping him out. But that is, of course, awesome. But in the meantime, boom, I'm just going to push this over here. And yeah, so you can see with my Flipboard magazines, I'm just going to transition that. I've got a couple. I've got one that catches everything. I've got a bunch of Japanese articles. I've got my Japan related, just Japan stuff only, and my YouTube Tech and Science magazines. Actually, for the start of this year with CES on and everything, it was actually the Tech and Science stuff which was probably the busiest with this catch up. Plus this catch up for this week goes all the way back to the start of January from when I last did the update. So there's lots of cool stuff at the moment. But yeah, I picked out some topics that I thought were interesting for a show. And those are in my Hiko's Tokyo Tonight topics. And so let's get into those and have a look. And boom, more comments below. Yeah, in fact, there's Tamid Sadiq. It's very good to see you. And there's more than a few people suggesting that we might get a live birth on YouTube, although I'm not sure if the terms of service will allow that. But let's have a look. So in terms of stuff which I've been watching this week, which is fun, go and check out American Teens Watch J-Pop Music Videos for the first time. Of course, this whole series of, American Teens Watch. Or actually, what is it called exactly? It's Teens React or something like that, right? But it's basically they find a couple of ADHD, attention deprived, slightly obnoxious kids, and they get them to, they basically make them watch stuff, and they film the reactions of them. And of course, they have to give reactions, so it can feel a little bit forced at time, but it's a Teens React. There it is. It's a pretty good series. And they actually gave them a collage of 3 J-pop videos. One was by Perfume, which is actually, as a band, I didn't know any of the songs that they showed, but Perfume is pretty good and recommendable as good electronic music generally. That was the first video, and it's kind of an artsy video. The second video they showed was Exile. Exile as a J-pop group they're very interesting. They are... Now, they're not part of Johnny's, they're part of, I think, one of the other massive kind of idol talent agencies. And they were originally not singers, they were basically a group of back dancers that, were formed into an idol group. They all kind of, some of them can sing, of course, but, they were kind of formed after being dancers first. Originally, I think it only had like 5 or 6 people. Now it has something like 50 people. In fact, this is the whole thing with Kohaku. I missed Kohaku this year because I was in Australia. Kohaku is the end of year NHK special, music special, which is a big status thing in the talent industry in Japan to be invited to come on that show for the New Year special. It used to be a mix of kind of Inca singers and various types of pop and rock and 1 or 2 idol kind of things. But in recent years, it's just been, lock to block, just idols. And when they say idols, not just like one, not like Ami Suzuki or Kuraki Mai or something. Now it's like AKB48, which apparently, and they said on this, they're watching that, how many people are in that? And they said there's 150 members in AKB48 now. With Exile as well, there's dozens. And watching them, I feel uncomfortable. It could be I'm getting middle-aged, but it could be that they start to look a lot like the North Korean mass games to me now. And they're not. And the thing is that these idol groups, and Exile's not bad, for example, but AKB, you don't have to have a very musically trained ear to listen to them and pick that. There are some people singing in that recorded track who can't sing. And that's deliberate. I mean, and this isn't new either. Even in SMAP, it's famous. There's Nakai, of course, who's the leader of the group. He couldn't hold a tune to save his life. I mean, there are deaf, elderly people who could sing better than Nakai. But it's on purpose. They have him in there throwing it off key slightly on purpose to make them feel like they're accessible, or like they don't want super talented people. It's part of the whole industry thing, is to sell the the idea that these people are accessible. They don't want them to be too good looking even if you have some really good-looking people, you have to have some not good-looking people. Again, Nakai, he fills that demographic perfectly. You have talented people, people who are good actors, people who are good singers, and people who just can't do anything, at all. Again, just to make it all feel a little bit safer and more accessible. And again, that's why Nakai is there in SMAP. I don't like Nakai. I don't. I think they should take him out back. But then it's funny, they took the concept of Nakai in SMAP and they made it a 12-year-old girl, and they hired 150 of them, and they made AKB48. And I know a lot of you people like them, and well, they're cute, some of them can sing. But it's kind of funny, what I loved about watching this Teens React video is that these teens reacting, and they're kind of forced reactions, but a lot of them were exactly the same reactions I have when I watch them now. The thing is, J-pop, like that they're showing, the idol stuff, that of course that's part of what commercial music in Japan, for better or worse, has become. But that doesn't represent music in Japan in any way. I mean, it does, that 1% of idol production music. Perfume is very innovative, relatively speaking, in the commercial electronic music genre. But the indies and the electronic and the club music scene, and Japan's got this huge, diverse music industry, which is one of the things I love about Japan. And it's kind of funny watching the guys react to AKB48. Like, oh, it's cute. Oh, this is nice. Wait, they look 12 years old. Wait, they're kind of dressed extremely suggestively. Wait, are those girls kissing? Wait, it gets weird, and I feel all the discomfort that was felt by that guy with the AKB stuff, and with the EXILE stuff as well. It's like, oh yeah, they can dance, yeah, it's cool. How many of them are there? It's exactly the same questions that I have. So it's kind of funny to watch. Anyway, you should totally watch it. Recommended video. What else we got here from this week? Oh. Now, I picked this up for a particular reason. Racy headline, everything granted, but see, this is important, okay? I watch the NHK 7 p.m. news every day. I record it, and no matter what time it is, even if I get home in time, even by the time, we're already putting the lad to bed, and, even if it just happens that the 9 o'clock news is starting, and the world has exploded between 7 and 9 p.m., I don't care. I don't trust the 9 o'clock news team. I trust the 7 o'clock news team. They're good people. Takepon, the standard newsreader, if he didn't say it, it didn't happen. I think I've explained this to you guys before. So, there was a big shake-up on the 7 o'clock news team when it turned out that the weather lady, Mamiko Okamura, one of two weather ladies that alternate, so that the other one can, have a weekend or whatever. But Mamiko Okamura, who's not only a meteorologist but also a pianist, a concert pianist, it turned out that she suddenly, a scandal about her came out one day, and then the next day her face was removed from the NHK site. And as anyone who knows, with Japan, if you get on the outside of your TV channel or your company or whatever, they erase you like you never existed, and that's pretty much what's happened to her. And I wasn't I actually prefer the other weather lady, to be totally honest. But she was nice. The weather is always pretty accurate in Japan, so I had no complaints as a consumer of the weather news. However, it turns out she was in a bit of a mixed up love triangle of sorts. Apparently one with a meteorologist who's a news weather guy on a commercial TV channel, and some other guy who was just called Mr. A, and apparently Mr. A, it looks like is the guy who broke the story. But in any case, both of the two guys involved were married. She was not married, which in many ways, if you're talking about love triangles and whatnot, puts her in the best situation in terms of guilt or whatever. But yes, it turns out that while she had been carrying on an extramarital affair with weatherman what's-his-face for a long time, she also started up another affair with another guy. And it turned out that the first guy that she was going out with had like a fetish for voyeurism. He always wanted to see specifically for the fetish of seeing their lover being taken by somebody else, apparently specifically. So he actually when he found out about the other lover, he actually said, well, maybe you could leave the door unlocked and let me come in and watch. And apparently he did. That was all cool. She cooperated. She texted him, said, I left the door open, you can come in. We're starting in a few minutes. And apparently it all went normally until she dumped Mr. A, the new guy. And then Mr. A apparently first went to the first weather guy's house and told his wife everything about him. And she didn't take the bait on it or anything like that. Apparently she was very calm or whatever. He ended up making a police complaint against the other guy, and he took the story to Flash magazine or whatever. The third guy thought that maybe the first guy had sabotaged him. They're both married. I mean, and as is natural and normal and just in Japanese society, the woman was fired. The other two apparently, I don't know what's happened to the other two, but the weather reader from the next day, it's funny, they actually showed on some sites how they have the lineup of all the faces from the 7 o'clock news team. Very Ron Burgundy, Well, imagine the next day they just deleted one of the faces. It was pretty rough. I don't know what she's doing now, but there was a point at the beginning of this that's totally unrelated to that story. The headline here calls her a nympho. And this is important because the definition that the weekly magazine used for her as a nympho was that she apparently once told a co-worker that if she doesn't have sex more than once a month, she goes crazy, which is nice. But apparently, I wonder where's the other story. There is another story which came around this week, which is that according to a government survey or a government-sponsored survey of married couples, I don't know how they researched this specifically. I guess it was a survey. But it was from the Family Planning Association in Japan. They found that married couples in Japan, 45%, this number has been going up and up over time, they've been tracking this. This would be very awkward to survey, and I don't know what numbers are like, comparative numbers are in other countries. Apparently 45% of married couples in Japan are sexless. The definition of sexless that they used in this article, if this is still up, but you can see the graph here. So apparently 10 years ago, so 2004. In terms of respondents, 32% responded that they were sexless. So now it's 45. So I guess the question is, what is the definition that they're using for this? And the definition that they are using, apparently it's a frequency of less than once a month. Sorry, you know what? That's not right. People who are married for more than a month. I was thinking, if the frequency is less than once a month, then it seems kind of harsh to call her a nymphomaniac. What is hilarious and sad about this is the reasons that people gave for it in the survey for men and women who just weren't into it. Oh, but you know what? Here it is. But it's like 結婚して. Okay, so for people it is once a month. So this is the thing. They called the weather girl a nympho for not wanting it more than once a month. But according to the Family Planning Association of Japan, if she had been married, which she wasn't, but if she had been married, not wanting it for not doing it more than once a month apparently puts you in these statistics. So I don't know. What do you think about that? Is that kind of a harsh criteria? Once a month? Maybe it's a bit personal. You don't have to say. But in terms of, it's also interesting the reasons that men gave for just not wanting to have business time. Apparently, the number one reason for men was they are just tired from work. 21.5%. 15.7% said just felt icky after they give birth, and 11.2% said because my wife is currently knocked up. I guess this is a family planning association, so they see that. The women's responses were 23.5% more than men. Women didn't want to do it because mendokusai. Screw that. What a pain in the ass. The 23% responded, it's just a pain in the ass. No, sorry, not literally, by the way. Not literally. It's a figure of speech. If it was, I would totally understand. No, sorry, I should be careful with this topic. It's just because they just don't want to. They don't feel like they're not in the mood. 17.8, and you know what? It might have sounded a bit sexist for men to say, yeah, after giving birth it feels a bit icky. But, you know, that was 15.7% of men. 17.8% of women feel the same way after they give birth once. It's like, ugh, I don't want to do that again. And, oh, you know what? Sorry, that's wrong. That's 16.8%. It's still more than men. And again, women are tired of work. And this is another thing. I talk about how young people nowadays are getting, you know, the work conditions are getting worse. You have this whole working poor thing that I talk about all the time. Both people say it. When you talk about wanting to fix the population thing, you know, in the top two reasons for both genders, it's being tired from work. You know, people work really hard nowadays, and all of this impacts. It's not just a matter of daycare and stuff like that on the population thing. This is having a real impact. So yeah, it's just interesting to see. One, there's a little bit of a. I feel like, as with all of these scandals, just like Mono Yamamoto as well, who was caught having an affair with a married baseball player. She was a newsreader, and she was also erased from television. But she wasn't married. She was dating him. You know, the married guy, the guy from the, I think it was the Giants, from the baseball team, he suffered no sanction whatsoever, and she lost her job and was erased from the public eye. And you know, the stuff that was said about her on Nichan and stuff like that. But, you know, if anyone's at fault, surely it's the married guy more than the single woman. I mean, you know, so there's some different gender double standards involved in this as well, and I think that the criteria they use for calling her an info is a bit harsh. But that's it. They were doing some freaky stuff by the accounts of the Weekly Mag, and the fact that NHK just deleted her existence the next day says that there's probably something to it. I liked her. I liked her news. I liked her weather. I still remain true to the NHK 7 o'clock news. What can I say? They're a great news team, and I watch them every day. It's just not quite as interesting anymore. There's an article here, and you know what? I think Rocket News was trolling when they put this up, actually. And it makes me question. You know, I put up so many stories about Japanese tourism, and there's so many stories out there about how Japan's doing great at tourism. Japan is putting a lot of energy into tourism, no question. And I would have said, certainly, like when I came to Japan, 1998, 1999, Japan was crap at tourism. When I came backpacking around Japan in 1995, you know, tourist information centers were for, you know, organized domestic tours. If you were a foreign backpacker, they would actually tell you to go away. They would actually say, I can't help you. You're not with one of our registered domestic tours. It's come a long way, and it's getting a lot better, and I keep getting lots of impressions. Certainly, I mean, with the Olympics coming up and the target of 20 million visitors, I talk every week about how Japan is doing great at tourism. So this article came up. Why is Japan such an unpopular tourist destination? And I haven't clicked on that yet. While I disagree with the concept of the title, I think Japan does okay, and it actually hits above its weight. I mean, given how crap it is in terms of tourist infrastructure, it's amazing so many people come here. Japan, I mean, apparently there was a survey of Chinese people. Japan is the most popular tourist destination for Chinese people at the moment, even with the government like making these horror movies about TV serials about, you know, World War II things about Japan. All the time at the moment. They're doing a real anti-Japanese propaganda thing domestically, yet Japan's a place that they all want to come to. So I'm not sure it is unpopular, but they do show a ranking here, and this looks very Wikipedia-ish, and I'm not sure what year this is or what criteria, but here we go. It talks about the size of the tourism industries, and you know, Japan's tourism industry is still underdeveloped, no question. And yeah, in terms of attracting numbers of tourists, well, here we go, tourism arrivals. So this is interesting. So Japan, and this is definitely 2012. 2014, Japan is confirmed as now being 13 million, so it is catching up to South Korea. It's probably past South Korea now. South Korea is trying very hard with the casinos as well at 12 million. This is interesting. So China gets 55.7 million, Thailand 26.5 million, Malaysia 25.7 million. Hong Kong, this is kind of surprising, 25.6 million. But you know what? I bet a part of the reason for that is expats and so on also coming in and out, as well as, well, actually no, and you also get all the mainland Chinese coming in and out of Hong Kong, I guess being recorded as tourists. And you know what? It's probably the same reason that Macau has such a high number there. It is still nonetheless surprising that South Korea was attracting so much more tourism than Japan, or at least the same even. Singapore apparently attracts, well, again, lots of expats, and it is easy to you can drive across from Malaysia, for example, but still that's interesting. But Taiwan, Vietnam, India, and I'd love to go to India if it wasn't so difficult to go there with the visas and stuff like that. So, Travis Moore says, people actually go to China. Do they come back? Yes, I think most of them do. Most of them make it back. Don't worry about that. But okay, so argument is before that Japan's crap at tourism, which I'm not sure I agree with, but it's not a Thailand. I'd say Thailand and Malaysia, those are legit tourism superpowers, more than China or the countries around China. Maybe that's unfair. I guess if you that is probably a little bit unfair. For my idea of tourism, the idea of going to a beach and having nice food and traveling around like that's definitely those countries. So the reasons that it suggests for this are publicity problems, and certainly Japan is crap when it comes to advertising, and indeed they bring up the Arashi, the idol group advertising campaign for Japan, which was terrible, and I agree with this. This was terrible. This was someone at Dentsu who's been commissioned to promote Japanese tourism, thinks this is a great opportunity for cross-promotion. We're going to put our Japanese band that we want to promote offshore as the ambassadors of Japan and Japanese culture for foreigners. And the result is it's one of these things where so many people obviously put input into this tourism campaign that it just became something that was for the self-pleasuring of Japanese ad executives that has no way of connecting with anyone outside of Japan or appealing to them at all. Yet it's almost in spite of the ad campaign involving Arashi that people still come to Japan. So yeah, I agree with that. Skytree high cost. Well, the Skytree itself is expensive, but you know what? Japan is too far and expensive for people from Europe and the USA. Not true right now. The yen has collapsed, and it is definitely getting cheaper. Plus, of course, tourism is getting better value for money, although traditionally this was very true. Lost in translation, again, this used to be totally true. There was no language support or anything for non-Japanese or non-Japanese speaking tourists. It's gotten a lot better. It's still not great, but it's better. I mean, well, this is just a station, so it's a little bit harsh. This is not a tourist information center that they're showing here, but yeah, they used to look like this. Indeed, Japanese only convenience. It's getting better. It's gotten a lot better. It's gotten a lot of years better from 20 years ago, but it still is pretty true, so there's still a fair thing here. But yes, they talk about the good things that are happening in the free Wi-Fi and the Olympics and everything like that, and it is getting better. I think this is a little bit trollish, but it got my attention and I'm featuring it on the show, so it worked. I got trolled. But it actually raises some legitimate points. And there's no question, I mean, the thing is, Japan would almost do better at tourism if it just did nothing. Like the Arashi campaign probably only hurt, it probably only confused and discouraged people, actually. So it's nice to see that things are getting better. And, there's still lots for Japan to improve, so it is good that they featured this. What else we got here? We've got, oh yeah, this was awkward. You know what? One of my favorite scenes in any movie, I don't know the name of the guy. He's in lots of movies. He's an extra in lots of movies. But there's a scene in the movie Anger Management with Jack Nicholson and Adam Sandler, and there's a scene in the group therapy thing where this guy's like recalling a story about not being able to control his anger, and he ends up basically telling a story about how he was telling something innocuous, like he said he wanted to, eat a taco instead of a burrito or something like that. And I said, don't go there, man, don't go there, man. And I told him, he just kept saying it. I couldn't control it. No, I blacked out. And when I came to, I was standing over him and I was shouting at him. He's covered in blood and I was shouting at him, I told you not to go there. I told you not to go there. I always think that when I see stuff like this, don't go there. I told you not to go there. Japan apparently quietly complained on the anniversary of the Nanking massacre when China commemorated according to the Tokyo War Tribunal number. The basis of the number, I mean, there's not a lot of documentation about that incident, but the official number at the time in history and that the people who were held responsible for it were hanged for was 300,000. Japanese revisionists say that the 300,000 number was deliberately inflated by the Allies to make the number bigger than the number of people who died in the A bombings to make Japan worse. I think that's speculation. Truth is, it's not scientific, but that's the historical number that since World War II has been the number attached to the Nanking massacre. There are people who have said on the Japan side, it wasn't any more than 20,000 or 30,000 or whatever. But well, even if it's 20 or 30,000, it still isn't something to brag about. and it's one of those things that frankly, even if that's right, and neither side really has any statistics or proof either way, but they just shouldn't go there on this. But apparently the Abe government, which I have always said was not stupid enough to start actually doing the revisionist stuff that a lot of them believe in, very quietly in December after the Memorial Day said to China, we really want you to stop saying 300,000 books. We're pretty sure that's a BS number. And our condolences. I'm pretty sure they didn't even say the condolences. Don't go there. Nothing good comes out of dragging this up and debating the fine print on it again. I care about Japan's national interest, and I'm sorry, even if the number was corrected to 30,000, that doesn't make Japan look any better, and it's not. And the fact that they're disputing it over the number thing looks like they want to dispute the whole thing, and that starts to look like Holocaust denial. And the thing is, I lived in Singapore. All sides in World War II did a lot of effed up stuff, and there's no question if Japan and Germany had won, the Allies would have been held for similar war crimes. Well, Germany, let's face it, Germany was extreme, and some say that Japan was on a similar level to Germany, something that revisionists in Japan dispute. But there's no question in terms of the fire bombings and the A bombings and stuff like that, the attacks, deliberate attacks on civilian cities, there's no question. We had war criminals too, but in those days, if you won, you got a free pass, and that's what happened. And that's not fair, but that's how it is. And dragging this stuff up again is not good for just when things are getting better with China. Of all the things to pick out, this is not a good one to pick. So I hope it's not a sign of more to come with this sort of stuff, just because it's not in Japan's interest. I mean, Japan's got enough issues with China without really prodding a hornet's nest needlessly over this sort of thing. No one's ever going to be able to establish the exact number, and so I think fighting over the numbers in the end is kind of offensive to the people. I don't think there's any real debate that something happened and there were victims. So you're still messing with that. But yes, unfortunate that happened. That's why I put that there. Something I put a little placeholder. This is something you may have noticed actually since I got back from Australia, and certainly in the last week, I've been making a lot of music, which I meant to feature and show you guys a little bit. I've started to put my stuff into a playlist on SoundCloud, which I'll show you here quickly. So if you go to soundcloud.com Hikosaemon, boom, let's pull that down there so you can see, soundcloud.com Hikosaemon, as well as uploading the audio for these Tokyo Tonights. I've also started, I've been making a lot of music on K-Oscillator, and I've actually started to get it where I'm actually having a lot of fun with it. And so I've actually created like a playlist. I've called it an album, Check This Groove, although I'm actually going to divide it up by musical style. Everything is Creative Commons, so everything you can download. I've made sure everything is downloadable and you can use it. You just have to give credit to me technically under the license, but even that much I don't really care. I just like to know. I just like to see how it's being reused because it's cool. But all the music that I make, you can put onto your YouTube videos or anything else. You can reuse it any way that you like. It's all downloadable. Some of it's not bad. I've made 2 music videos that I've uploaded this week, and actually the 2 tracks which I made the music videos for were not my favorite music tracks. It was just that the videos that I took kind of matched the music, so I picked those out. But I want to make some more music videos for the music, and but what I really want to do is 2 things. One, I want to keep making some electronic music and making videos for that, which I'll keep doing periodically, and I'll keep putting the MP3s up here. But I also want to make background music for videos. And I want to make that music available to everyone who wants to make YouTube videos, who wants usable background music. A lot of my stuff isn't really background music at the moment. It's too heavy, it's too broad. I think it has to be kind of simple, and I'm trying to get the basics of how to make a simple kind of innocuous background noise, which just acts as a filler to get rid of the PC hum beside me and stuff like that. However, there's a nice article I found here when I was Googling around about that. About not so much the article itself, but the comments. There's a great discussion about how to make a pocket And this is something I didn't know much about and something which I'm learning. Maybe there's a guy here, Charlie Brown AU, he's here a lot of weeks and he's studying music engineering at the moment. He can help out with this a little bit. I'm certainly looking at what I can do in Adobe, but it says that with the music track, if you lower the 1 kilohertz frequency band and the bands immediately before and after it to create a bell-shaped pocket for the human voice to fill, that's the band that the human voice sits in. So if you lower the music in those kind of frequencies, it means that even at a reasonable volume, although of course it says here as well, you want to be careful with the volume as well. Keep the peaking of the music between minus 16 and minus 20, and the voice to minus 6. So you want a differential. But if you do that, you'd be able to create music which doesn't clash so much with the voice. And I want to make some music based on this information. This is really, really interesting to me. Ben Duncan, I don't use a Mac. I use Apple. I use iPhones and stuff like that, iOS, but I do not use, well, if you're talking about me, and I don't know about that. The rain video, Posey May is talking about the rain video. I shot that. It's funny, I was thinking, I keep making these hyperlapse videos, and I love hyperlapse videos. I love anything that makes anything that I see all the time look different and cool. And there's hyperlapse is obviously a cool way of doing that, to show the world sped up and smooth. But, if I'm speeding it up 12 times, that means I need to shoot 12 times the amount of video for the length of the video that I'm making. So for a 4-minute music video, if I want to do that all on hyperlapse, I've got to shoot 48 minutes holding it up like this. Your arms get tired after a long time. I've got a lot of clips. I've built up a nice repository of really cool hyperlapse clips. But one day it suddenly occurred to me, and especially when I was thinking I'm trying to do a lot of downbeat music, and it suddenly occurred to me, the slow motion feature on that's something I should use. I was thinking, well, what can I shoot in slow motion? And I've got a bunch of ideas of stuff to shoot in slow motion to use for music videos, but the first thing I thought was rain would be really awesome in slow motion. And then it just happened to rain the other day. So I was out and about and I just randomly shot slow motion rain, and it looked really good. So it was an awesome video. The music, I've got much better music actually on here, and you should check that out. But in any case, I'm just making music first, and a lot of the stuff is stuff which I set up on Chaos Later while I was in Australia, that I'm recording. But I'm actually going to start making some purpose-built background music, which I'm going to share to everybody. And I'll probably make an album of like YouTube-friendly background music. But in any case, all of this music is yours to enjoy. That's the whole idea. I got no use for it. I'm gonna put on my music videos and stuff like that, but this is for you guys to listen to and enjoy, and if you like, to use in your videos if you think it can be cool. So that was awesome, and I'm also going to keep exploring 240 frames per second, which means that if I want to shoot a 3-minute video, I'm weak at math, so I thought every shot I take I'll shoot for 30 seconds, and I'll just take like 10 of those and I'll put them together later. I suddenly realized when I make it like 25 frames per second, I actually ended up making 30 frames per second, which is 12.5% speed. But that meant the 30-second clip was 5.5 minutes. So like I could have made one clip and had video to spare. So that's awesome. That means I don't have to do any more. That means I hardly have to shoot. Instead of 48 minutes of walking around like like I'm flying my snowspeeder, Star Wars set. I just have to like stand still for 20 seconds and I've got a whole music video. And it looks cool. And that's important. I mean, what you shoot is important. But I'm going to do more of that anyway. And the music thing is something I'm on a kick at the moment. And you're gonna see more stuff from this. And this is, again, stuff I want to do some stuff to directly help other people out. And what would be cool is I'm connecting at the moment with other people on SoundCloud, who know my YouTube channel, who know me. And they're showing me links in their channels and stuff like that. And it'd be kind of cool to do like an album together. Why not? Try to get music of a similar style, electronic. I like sort of big beat or drum and bass, or and I like hip hop break beats. Maybe there's a few people out there already I'm already like connecting musically with, and it would be kind of cool to actually do like a compilation album together, I think. So definitely look for more in that space this year. It's another thing I enjoy and I want to do for fun. Travis Moore, thank you. I've got better tunes than that one, but definitely, and you actually play bass, you've actually got a musical talent. I just like K-oscillator. I just like move my finger around the screen until it stops sounding crap, which takes a long time. But I get there. I had like a 13-hour flight from Australia to make a few tracks. And yeah, some of them actually came out sounding like, whoa, that's actually quite good. I'll take credit for that. So yes, which you can go and listen to. And there's some more I'm still going to make and upload. So check out my SoundCloud. If you do, that stuff, follow my SoundCloud. And I'm going to start promoting in a more organized way and organizing my music a bit more soon. But definitely there's that. What else we got here? I think this is the last one actually that I put on here. Do I have anything else? No, there's more. And we are on the deadline, but I'm going to keep talking. Why not? That's what I'm here to do. I started late because of my technical problems. This is just something I just believe in a lot, and so I just put it there. I didn't even read the rest of the article, actually, but it's just true. Limitation is the essence of creativity. It's the essence of, this is so true. The more a person limits himself, the more resourceful he becomes. Flip it around. The more comfortable you are, the less resourceful you become. Japan philosophy. If you're moving to Japan, it's possible as a foreigner here to make yourself pretty comfortable. You could go and live in a gaijin house, be surrounded by gaijins, you have people to go out with, a social set. You don't really have to speak Japanese because everyone wants to practice with you in English. You make enough money, it's okay. And you can actually have a very pleasant, very comfortable life for years. The only downside of that at all, and this isn't a problem for a lot of people, is that you'll probably find you'll sit back for 2-3 years, sometimes 4 years, and it's very easy to find in that situation, I've achieved nothing. I've had a great time, but I thought I was going to learn Japanese when I came to Japan. I thought I was going to do kendo. I thought I was going to enhance discover religion. I thought I was going to be a better human being, but no, I've just gone out and drank and met many wonderful ladies and spoken English. A lot of people find themselves in that situation. It happens very easily in Japan. And my whole philosophy was to make life as harsh on myself as possible, and hence I lost all my hair. But it worked, kind of. Well, in terms of I set goals. I don't know if I've ever really nailed a goal, but I've done well enough at getting towards my goals that I've had something to show for it, at least at the end of it. Creatively speaking, just making music on K-oscillator, just the fact that you've got this one app with only 5 channels and you've got to figure out how to make stuff with it. Yeah, it forces you to become resourceful with it. With YouTube, I get obsessed with the settings and stuff like that. The more you feel limits, the more hungry you feel to learn stuff. And, just that curiosity about anything, about video gaming, about anything you care about in life, I think it's actually good to deliberately limit yourself and set restrictions and boundaries. I find on creative projects, I love creative projects with very specific limits. Someone says, go away, paint me a picture, come back next week. I would flunk that assignment. But if someone said, go away, paint me a picture, it has to be on a 4 centimeter square, it has to be about technology, it could only be in 2 colors, I would get a kick out of that. I would have to find some way to name that. None talks about people who discovered the language of alcoholism. Well, that happens for some people as well. But this is it. I think imposing limits on yourself is a great way to push yourself. And even if you don't get all the way there, you still go somewhere, and that's what life is about. Geez, you don't want to, So I really believe in that quote, and I think that's very true, and that's why I put that there. And that is from philosopher Søren Kierkegaard. Looks like a Danish or Icelandic. I don't know. I'm not very big on my Icelandic. Hey, good on you, Thorin. Anyway, I'm not very big on my Icelandic philosophers. Having said that, he's probably Danish. Anyway, so this next one, and this was something actually I meant to read. It's talking about portrayals and stereotypes of non-Japanese wives on Japanese TV, because there's been a few lately. Whoa, and that's an academic paper. And it's very long. I saw the person who tweeted this, Melbourne, who I love following on Twitter, said that this is kind of an awful thing, but they actually focus specifically on the Okusama wa Gaikokujin, the TV show about my wife is a foreigner, and a few other things talking about just analyzing the portrayal of foreign wives. I should read it. I haven't read it, so I can't talk about it, but it looks very interesting. So go and check it out. I'm going to read it myself, but go and check it out in my Flipboard magazine. And what else we got here? I think we're getting near the end now. The good news. There is some good news. For the third year in a row, the number of suicides is below 30,000, and it's dropping. So it's kind of funny. I don't know. People are having less babies. They're having less sex. The real wages are going down. The world is coming to an end, but less people are killing themselves. It's good. It's good. There's some good. There's a silver lining. I guess people have just given up. I don't know. It'd be really interesting to know. It's really impossible to know, I guess, to some extent. But I have a slight theory. A lot of the cases that you hear about in Japan with suicide are to do with money lending. They're to do with people owing debts to bad people, which used to be, even when I came to Japan, was a big part of the economy, the Yakuza-based money lending. And that's an area that's really been policed and cracked down on in recent years. And I wonder if that's had an effect, because certainly the economy isn't any better. Maybe it's social change. There's certainly been a change where everybody used to be like lifetime employees, and so losing your job was and that's another thing, I guess, that happened a lot around 10 years ago when they changed the employment laws. Young people nowadays don't expect to have lifetime employment, and as a result, maybe they're not as committed to and married to their jobs. So maybe they don't feel that work stress as much. I don't know, I can only speculate, but it's definitely good that it's going down. I don't feel like Japan has any better a framework for counseling and supporting and helping people with problems that lead to this sort of thing, deal with them and overcome them. But it's good to see, at least for a country that's known for having a high suicide rate, that it's getting better. And to note, although Japan has this rep for this high suicide rate, I come from a country, New Zealand, that has a higher youth suicide rate than Japan does. Yes. Probably for a lot of the same reasons Japan does. New Zealand's a small society where everyone knows each other, and I guess there's a lot of situations which can bring people to feeling like they're at the end of the world. And when the community of everyone that you know around you, like small towns in America or whatever, New Zealand is probably a lot like that, and Japan has that as well. When your family or world, be it your work or your school or your family or whatever, when something happens that causes a rift in that, that has a really big impact in New Zealand. It does in Japan too, as it does anywhere, but I think there are cultural things that Japan and New Zealand have in common that contribute to this. However, it's good to see that it's dropping, so there's some good news there. Hopefully overcoming the stereotype. Oh, and this was the story I meant to talk about for the whole show. We're already over an hour, and I just got to the fact that Taco Bell is coming to Japan and India and the UK. Apparently they did market research, and they found that the overall complete volume of diarrhea emitted in each one of those markets, there was still room for Taco Bell to come and have a meaningful impact in this market. And so, I don't know, I'm confused. I like Mexican food, what I've had of it. I mean, Americans told me I haven't had it because they've said there's no real good Mexican food in Tokyo. I don't know if this is Mexican food or not. It's nice, it's okay, I don't go crazy for it, but whatever. Taco Bell, I've watched Demolition Man, and I'm aware that in the future all restaurants will be Taco Bell. So I'm preparing for that, and it's good to know that they're coming here, so I know what to expect in the future. However, when I posted this on Facebook, I got a very diverse range of comments and opinions relating to what the main implication of this would be for Tokyo. And there seem to be maybe three positions on this. The first one is a group of people who say that this is the greatest comfort food ever invented. This is like the greatest thing ever. There are people who are really excited. I've seen people like in Somalia when they're handing out those food packages, like when people come out of US bases with squashed cold like burritos from Yokosuka, from the Taco Bell on base, and they bring them to Yoyogi Park. I've seen people jump on the person with that bag, like hungry refugees. And it confuses me because it doesn't look that good, but they assure me that it is. at the same time, though, half the people are saying this is the greatest thing ever. This is the best fast food in America. Other people have told me it's just great comfort food, which, maybe a bit like fish and chips or meat pies for me. I don't know. And other people are just saying this is just terrible food, and this is just, it all relates to digestive stuff. They would say, it's going to give you diarrhea. And the people who love it, it's funny because the way that they come back is they say, yeah, but it tastes good. So I don't know. I don't know whether I'm supposed to be afraid or excited or happy. I'm probably going to try one. I don't know what's going on with this. But yes, that's right. Travis Moore assures me whether it's Mexican or American is immaterial because it's not food. Okay, well that's cool. But apparently, yes, indeed, as people are telling me, Americans eat the shit out of Taco Bell. There is actually, there's a pretty, I like it, a Mexican themed food chain in Japan called El Torito. It might actually be American or Mexican in origin. A lot of the family restaurants here are. It's pretty good. But I don't know. It's coming. Brace yourselves. I'm gonna tell the Japanese what to look out for, because in my Japanese videos, as I set up this new channel, because a lot of people want to tell me, geez, if I ever need to boost my clout score, I just have to post about like American fast food or diarrhea or both at the same time. This is a perfect storm of that, of course, because my Facebook went crazy when I posted this, and I didn't know what. It's like I opened the roof of the Ark, in Indiana Jones. Just shit went flying out everywhere, literally. And I think that's it. Do we have any more? Oh, no, we still got, geez, how many more do we have? That's the one that I found before. Oh, okay, so one more left. This is the last one. This is what Oculus Rift, another guy talking about. Everyone's talking about Oculus Rift and VR is going to go commercial this year, and I'm looking forward to it. And I know everyone's getting excited about strapping your TV to your face for games, and of course it's going to be awesome for games. But I'm old, and what I'm looking forward to is not just the games, but just the fact that I'm in a room at the moment with like a monitor here, and a monitor here, and a monitor here, and I like to surround myself, to quote David Hasselhoff, from the first episode of Knight Rider, when he first sat in kit for the first time and he looked at the dashboard and he said, this is like sitting in Darth Vader's bathtub. I have wanted to sit in Darth Vader's bathtub since I was 10 years old. And, there was a period in my life around between 30 and 34. I had a lot of difficult years and I felt like Darth Vader's bathtub isn't going to happen. I felt like that for a while, but this makes that real. And what this means is that, I've spent, the money, $400, geez, I spent about, actually 200, I got a good deal on this one. But the stuff I spend money on to make my computing stuff more comfortable, to be able to spread out my screens. I translate, so I want to see documents at the same time. When you to be able to like lay stuff out in multiple different areas. If I'm editing video, I want to see the timeline, I want to see the preview, I want to see my effects menus. If I'm editing music, if I'm doing anything, I want to be able to spread out, if necessary, all around me. And what excites me the most about this VR stuff is the fact that I can have virtual monitors. I can sit virtually in Darth Vader's bathtub and within arm's reach have everything that I want without having to pay for all the equipment. Look behind me. I've got two Pioneer CDJs, a new Mark Bixer, two SL 1200s. That right there is $10,000 of equipment that's now completely replaced by a $20 app, by the Tractor app, which is better than all of that. And it's on my freaking iPhone. Software replacing expensive hardware. We'll be able to create virtual environments that are like professional studios. And that is what I am excited about. I'm excited about making, videos and stuff like that, coming into this room. Instead of surrounding, it's nice. I feel nice being able to hug my monitors and everything. And it's going to look weird. I guess that's going to be the harshest thing, I guess, in the beginning, is that having that thing on your face and sitting on a chair and just having so much damn fun is going to be pretty socially awkward. but the payoff is, if this sort of thing of talking about having, making software music easier to use, I mean, it just allows you to change. You're not limited anymore to a physical interface. You actually get to sit in a real recording studio. You actually get, or even better than a recording studio. That's where the payoff is for me from this. I mean, great. You're still going to hook your Xbox to it. It's not going to save you any money on an Xbox, right? You're going to switch from your plasma TV to these goggles. It does save you, the cost of a VR booth, for example. But damn, this is going to replace the whole man cave. We're not even going to need man caves. We're just going to be, anywhere we can sit down, we can just strap this to our face, and I guess that has frightening implications as well. But that is what I think is awesome. Ben Duncan is going to keep all of your guitars, and maybe there'll be ways again that you'll be able to integrate all of this. I mean, again, it makes sense that if you've got a real guitar. And you should be able to use that guitar, even maybe from cameras, to virtualize it, for example. So you can have 20 different guitars, but only have one. Stuff like that. I think that's where the awesomeness of this news is, and that's why I'm really excited, and why I'm going to be first in line to get an Oculus. And because I have such high expectations of it, I'm also expecting to be bitterly disappointed by it when it comes out. But this year, it's going to be all about wearables, fitness trackers, health monitors. Wearables are going to go from being like pedometers to things that are actually going to diagnose like what the hell is wrong with my throat at the moment. And we're going to get these things to strap to our faces, which are going to finally sell after trying to sell these things unsuccessfully for 20 years now, because they're going to offer more than just kind of games. I mean, and games are good, and games will sustain this in a certain part of the market, but these are going to start replacing our offices. I'm going to sit at work with this thing on my face, like bloody Tom Cruise future movie about the murder investigations. Oh God, Minority Report. It's going to be like Minority Report, like virtually, right? I'm going to say that everyone, man, we're all going to look like Stevie Wonders at our desk. See, Stevie Wonder, he was there ahead of us. I mean, he's awesome, and I'm just going to be at my desk. I'm just going to have the thing on. It's going to be like, I'm just going to be translating like this. It's going to be awesome. I don't just translate, by the way, but that's where I need the most screens and stuff like that. It's when I'm working with multiple documents, and that happens a lot. So, well, let me, boom, transition that. So that's why I'm looking forward to this. I'm just going to be, I'm going to be like this all the time. Chaos later. I won't just be like 5 tracks. I'll be in a room full of like stuff like that. Oh, man, I can't wait. Dude, Jericho, Tom Cruise, we need to talk about aliens. Yes, see, and everyone's feeling me on the Stevie comment, right? Stevie Wonder is awesome, and he's my future. I knew when I was a kid, when I was watching Stevie Wonder music videos, that one day I was going to become like that. Not blind, the opposite, actually. But this is the thing, and the other stuff which is so cool, all the medical technology stuff at the moment, they're actually like getting ready to give people like virtual, like that Star Trek stuff for Stevie Wonder, so he'll be able to actually see better than everybody and have an Oculus Rift and do this at the same time. It'll be cool. So anyway, this has gone on far too long, hasn't it? It's been fun talking to you guys again, and looking forward to having another awesome 2015 year of the sheep with you guys, and starting up a new channel soon, so I'll be ready to announce that soon. Congratulations again to Tomojin, and thank you for naming this. You'll be getting some swag. Braska Ferrin, I'm going to get you sorted out, so let me get back to you on that, and I'll talk to you all again soon. So peace. Boom. I actually have to stop this video. It's awkward. Frog in my throat still there. Stop streaming. Boom, there's the button. I'm just going to click it. It's going to end. You won't know it hit you. I also have to click OK, because it asks me, am I sure I want to stop streaming? I won't be able to restart. Yeah, I'm sure.